Hello, my lovely dreamers. Welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Christina and my channel is Old School ASMR Sounds. Sometimes Tuesdays Wine and Crime just turns into Wednesdays Wine and Crime. But I am here with you now and I am happy to share a glass of good wine with you and a new true crime story. So here's to you, chin chin. So if you are here for another soft-spoken, whispering true crime story, find yourself a cozy spot. I'm talking to you and you and you and you and you. Find yourself a cozy spot. Pour yourself a glass of wine or juice or milk or hot chocolate, whatever you might like. And come keep me company for another story. Today, my dear dreamers, I'm going to take you with me in Romania, in Brașov, Romania. Brașov is one of the most known and one of the most beautiful cities in Romania. She was a famous lawyer. She was a famous, successful lawyer who loved life, loved traveling, and loved her little boy Patrick. She was petite, with black hair and green eyes, fascinating and extremely smart, full of life. He was a policeman, and they were husband and wife. But in one summer night, she vanished, and she has never been found. Her name was Elodia. She has been missing for 14 years. And her husband is currently in prison, convicted of murdering his wife, although Elodia's body has never been found. Elodia Ginescu's case is the most notorious case of murder / disappearance in the Romanian history. The media went absolutely crazy. There were thousands of articles in all the possible newspapers, and the case was covered by different TV stations all around the country and even international. So let's listen to this story, and I invite you to comment below and tell me what you think. This kind of stories always have a very beautiful start. They always start with two people madly in love with each other. In our case, Elodia Marinescu-Ginescu, who was born on 27th of September 1968 in Brașov, Romania, and Constantin Cristian Cioacă, born on the 1st of May 1976. Yes, he was younger than her. They met. It is said that he went to her office because he needed some legal advice, and he was fascinated by her and kept on finding new reasons to come back, ask for more advice, and she fell for him, and they ended up getting married. They got married on the 18th of July 2004. As I have told you, she was a lawyer, pretty good one, and he was a policeman, pretty good one too. He was also fascinated and really interested in perfect murders. Elodia disappeared on the evening of 29th of August 2007. Her husband waited for a few days before reporting her missing. He went to the police only on the 6th of September 2007. And he went there and reported that his wife, Ginescu Elodia Marilena, was missing from home. He justified the fact that he reported her being missing so late. He justified this by saying that she had previously left home with different men having different affairs, and that he assumed it was the same this time. He said that she used to go to different business trips, missing from home for a month or two. But this time, somehow he considered that it was something different, because he went to the police and reported her missing after 6 days. He hadn't waited for a month or two. So he somehow contradicted himself. I don't know how it happens, but people like Cristian Cioacă, like Chris Watts, like Scott Peterson, have a lot of supporters, mainly women, who wrote letters to them in prison, admired them, and fight for their rights. It happened the same in this case, and this case split Romania in two. Those who supported Cristian Joacă, considering him totally innocent, and those who were of course against him and thought that he had committed the perfect murder. That type of murder he was so interested in. He used to talk to his colleagues about this fascination of committing the perfect murder. He used to complain to his colleagues about his wife, and used to describe to them how he, between quotation marks, used to punish her from time to time. At first, in the beginning of their marriage, everything seems to be really fine. From what I've understood, it was a little bit difficult for Elodia to get pregnant, and after trying for a while, she succeeded to get pregnant, and she gave birth to a boy named Patrick in January 2005. She loved that boy very much. Her whole universe revolved around her little boy, and everyone that knew her, friends, relatives, family, everyone said that she would have never left her little boy. After a while, they began arguing. They began having a lot of arguments, and most arguments in families, most arguments are about money and betrayal, of course, cheating. Joacă had, and I suppose still has, always had an wandering eye, to say so. He has always loved women, never given up on having different affairs with different women that he used to call his girlfriends, not mistresses, girlfriends. And she was the one who, she was Elodia, she was the one who provided. She was the provider in the house. It is said that Joacă didn't own anything in that house except for a computer. So she bought him a car. Apartment they lived in Brașov was hers. She also had an office in the city, and everyone described her as being a very hard-working woman who woke up very early in the morning and called a taxi every morning to go to work. This is what the neighbors told about her, because she loved high heels and they could hear her steps going down the stairs every morning at 6 o'clock. Although she had bought him a car, her husband, he would never driven her to work. She always had to call a cab, a taxi. And as I have told you, the Romanian opinion was split into those who believed in Jaka's innocence and those who didn't. And there were two theories. One was that, of course, he killed her, and the other one was that she ran away with a lover or was somehow in some special program for witnesses. On 29th August 2007, around 3 o'clock a.m., Christian Jaka returned home from one of his girlfriends, and they began arguing, he and his wife Elodia. It was reported that night one of the neighbors heard a very loud thump. And he, as I have told you, waited up until 6 September 2007 to go and report her missing. He omitted to call anyone else. He didn't talk to her parents. He didn't ask anyone about his wife. He didn't seem to be worried. He didn't call any friends. Nothing. He just went on the 6th of September to the police and reported his wife missing. When asked why he had been waiting for so long before reporting her missing, he said that she used to leave home from time to time with different, let's say, lovers, which of course was not true. But still, before that summer, before going missing, Elodia had spent some days in Dubai with a security officer who was supposed to be a lover indeed. This former security officer testified in court also about their relationship. Jaka broke his wife's messenger account, Yahoo, I suppose it was a Yahoo back then, and searched for evidence that she was cheating, of course without her permission. And he made public all the messages and all the pictures that his wife exchanged with her alleged lover. Although he was considered suspect, it's always the husband that it is the main suspect. And in spite of failing the polygraph test, he couldn't be arrested immediately because the police didn't have too much evidence, and because there was no body. She wasn't anywhere to be found. The police started looking for the body first, looking for Elodia and it was also discovered that she committed some tax fraud, and they thought that maybe she ran away and changed somehow her identity and left everything behind. She disappeared because she wanted to. It's the classic story. But her family and friends have always said that she would have never left her boy behind. She was a really loving mother, and she cared so too much about her little boy. They had been looking for her in 4 Romanian counties. They looked in lakes, they looked in forest, ravines, cemeteries, everywhere that they have the slightest clue. On the 8th of October 2007, in a ravine between Poiana Brașov and Râșnov, the police found policeman uniform, dirty policeman uniform, some pictures of Elodia and her son, a bottle of perfume, and a pair of gloves, everything being stained and having drops of blood on them. The DNA test revealed that it was Elodia's blood, and still Chaka hadn't been arrested then. They kept on looking for the body. They couldn't find her, and she was officially declared missing on February 12, 2009. And Cristian Chaka was arrested on December 5th, 2012. Imagine. According to the prosecution, the motive for the murder was jealousy, caused by the affair that Elodia had with that ex-security officer. Police examined the apartment they lived in and gathered evidence from there. They found traces of blood under the floor, under the hardwood floor, and on the walls of the main bedroom. Although Cristian Chaka applied later 3 layers of paint on that very wall, the wall between the bedroom and the bathroom. The housekeeper declared to the police that the knife that she used every day for cooking was missing. The shower curtain was also missing, and a very big traveling bag which Elodia brought from Dubai. Everything else, jewelry and everything, was left behind. Elodia's mobile phones were also missing, and her ID, everything else was left behind. So after gathering evidence, the police concluded that on that night, when he went back from one of his girlfriends, they started arguing, and it is said that Elodia wanted to divorce. Remember that everything they had together, it belonged to her. And they started arguing, and he became violent, hit her, and after that he used the knife to section her body, and then put the pieces in that voyage bag and dispose them somewhere. Others say that it was unnecessary to do that because she was very tiny and she could easily fit in that voyage bag. You see that the police needed a lot of time to build up their case, because they didn't have the body, the corpse, and it was pretty difficult. And there was a whole army of women who supported Chuck, who had only said that he was innocent. He had been arrogant all the time, always chewing gum and smiling, making jokes, and just he seemed that he didn't care. He said all the time he was invited to TV shows and up to his arrest, and he always told that he felt that Elodia was alive. That he said that he didn't have any idea how those objects with blood drops on them were found in that ravine, that he of course didn't dump those things in there, and that night he was wearing a long-sleeved uniform, and the one found in the ravine was a short-sleeved uniform, but he was caught that night by a CC camera, and on the footage we can see him wearing a short-sleeved uniform. So he was lying all the time, but he was lying smiling and with such self-confidence that he was admired by a lot of women who supported him unconditionally, and they still do up to today. Elodia was officially declared deceased in 2011. Her parents hired a private detective who searched for Elodia internationally in other 4 countries, placed different announcements and flyers, but without any result. There was also 30,000 euros reward for anyone who could offer a real valid lead, or something that could lead to finding their daughter. They finally built up a commemorative stone for her in a little cemetery in her mother's native village, and they buried in there some of Elodia's personal things that she cared about. I think Christian Chaka thought that committed the perfect crime, and up to a certain point he succeeded to do so, taking into account the fact that she was never found. A lot of psychic detectives and mediums tried also to find her. One of them said that she is put somewhere, buried in cement in the walls of a house somewhere in an isolated place. Others say that it was a street. People were walking on a street back then, and it is said that she is buried under the under that street. That night, Chaka called his father, and it is said that he rarely called his father, but that night he called his father. He lived in a very isolated place, surrounded by hills, and the neighbors said that the next day they heard strange noises from coming from Chaka's father's house, and they saw Christian Chaka there together with his father, and that they dried the pond and placed cement on the bottom of the pond before filling it with water again. So there are a lot of theories. Some say that maybe she was dumped in a lake, or somewhere in the mountains, or is somewhere under, buried under the street in the mountains, that she is on the bottom of that pond at his father's house. The fact is that nobody has ever been able to find her. And there are people who still believe that the police didn't have too much evidence and convicted, and Chaka had an unfair trial and he was convicted on circumstantial evidence, because the drops of blood found in the apartment were very diluted, and they could have been from anything, I don't know, from when Elodia cut her finger, but the police found blood under the floor, which Chuck omitted to clean. So, Christian Chuck was arrested on December 5th, 2012, and he was sentenced on July 2nd, 2013 to 22 years in jail, but still he continues to maintain his innocence. So he is innocent. Everything that they found against him, he says that it was fabricated. He had no idea how those things with blood on them were found in that ravine in the mountains, and still I had some doubts, because he wanted to commit a perfect crime. Was he so stupid to dump those things in a ravine, knowing that he is followed? And I don't know what to think. So that was my story for today. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Do you think that she ran away to avoid being prosecuted for tax fraud? Or is she somewhere hid by her husband, who became violent and killed her? It's really sad. Thank you very much for watching or listening. Please don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed my video, or consider subscribing. Thank you very much again. See you next time. Bye bye.